Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me at Brain Health pour la Vie, where we learn to feed our brain so we can love our life. So, today's topic is all about gut health and how it is related to your mental health. Do you struggle with daily mental health issues, mood issues, anxiety, depression, ADHD, migraines, allergies, or even asthma for that matter? Well, I am here to tell you that even if I know that we're not alone, but also mostly that you can make and do something to make it better. Because many of our health issues, and especially also our mental health issues, are actually related to the health of our gut. So by improving the health of your gut, you're also improving your mental well-being, okay? And when I'm talking about your gut, I'm talking mostly about your stomach and your digestive tract, just so you know what I'm talking about. In my case, I can honestly say and share with you that I suffered for most of my childhood and adolescence of with gut issues. Well, actually specifically with one gut issue, which was severe constipation. I never thought anything of it, to be honest, besides the fact that it wasn't very pleasant. And I always thought that it would kind of go away. I never really thought to mention it to my doctor. I probably did once or twice, but didn't think much of it. And most people today find that occasional constipation or daily gas and bloating is not a problem. However, from personal experience, I can honestly say that once my gut health was better, my mental well-being improved. Okay, my lifelong struggle with anemia also got better. My mood swings got better. Anxiety, the fact that I snapped all the time, all of this got better when I started taking the health of my gut seriously. So in addition to talking about gut health today and how it's related to the health of your brain and your mental well-being, I'll also briefly share with you what you need to be avoiding to improve the health of your gut, okay? Today's video is actually a summary of an episode that I listened to in a podcast that's called The Brain Warrior's Way, created by Dr. Daniel Amen and his wife, Tana Amen. Dr. Daniel Amen is actually an internationally acclaimed brain health expert. So his many episodes on gut health actually inspired me to share with you what I want to share with you today. So the link to this episode will be shared with you at the top of this video. Before moving forward, I do want to introduce myself. For those of you who are new to my videos, I show up here every Friday. My name is Julie Gervais, and with Brain Health pour la Vie, which stands for Brain Health for Life. So you can have a healthy brain for the rest of your life, but also so you can feel fully alive every single day. And I am a registered holistic nutritionist. So now that, as I mentioned earlier, once I started to take the health of my gut seriously, my constipation went away and my mental health issues really improved. By the way, for those of you who think that having gas after every meal is normal, it's not normal, by the way, okay? This is actually a sign that whatever you just ate is just not going down with you. It's not working for you. So there should be a light bulb. You should be starting to question if you get gas after every meal, that should be enough for you to start questioning what you just ate and if you should maybe remove it from your diet. Now I've got 4 questions for you that I actually took from the episode because I thought they were so interesting and I wanted to share them with you. So first question, where in your body are created 3/4 of your neurotransmitters? The neurotransmitters are those feel-good messengers that our body creates, so we can feel good, happy, focused, calm, just, yeah, laid back. So these are the feel-good messengers, okay, like serotonin, dopamine, GABA. So 3/4 of these are actually created in your gut. What contains 2/3 of your immune system? Your gut. What organ contains 10 times more cells than any other organ in your body? Your gut. And finally, what do 70% of people suffer from? Gut problems. So your gut is your second brain. If your gut is not right, you aren't right, okay? You will feel the difference mentally as well. And the health, so that's why you need to take care of your gut if you want to be addressing your mental well-being. Now, let me explain the gut-brain connection. What feeds your big brain is your little brain. So your gut is loaded with nervous tissue and has a direct connection with your brain. So that's why when you get nervous, you get butterflies in your stomach. Or when you feel grief, you have an upset stomach. They're directly connected. From your mouth to the other end, there's approximately 30 feet. There's actually a 30 feet long tube. And lining that tube is your gut lining, which is actually only one single cell thick. Could you imagine? And that one single cell lining is what protects you from the rest of the world, protects you from the toxins that you eat and that you ingest and that you absorb. So when that lining breaks down, that is what we call having a leaky gut. Scientifically, we call that intestinal permeability. Okay, so a leaky gut is known to actually be associated with many health conditions, such as autoimmune disorders, digestive issues like constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating, IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disorders, and much more. Seasonal allergies and asthma as well. So these are also other conditions that may be related with gut health and hormonal imbalances, chronic fatigue syndrome, what else? Mood, anxiety, depression, ADHD. So these are all related to, can partially be related, or actually also fully related to the health of your gut. It all depends of your situation. We're all biochemically different. So it's not the same for everybody, is different. And the causes of these health problems may be, there can be many causes to each of these health problems. So these conditions are related, though, to the presence of inflammation. So when we reduce the inflammation, we feel better, okay? So that's the first thing you need to remember. So for the purpose of this video, what I want you to remember is also that if you suffer from a mood disorder or any mental health issue for that matter, you need to first look at the health of your gut. It's the first step. Now, what causes leaky gut and the presence of inflammation in your gut? The first thing is the standard American diet. So if you look at the acronym, Standard American Diet, you got SAD. So it's pretty easy to remember. And what the Standard American Diet stands for, it's basically sugar, It's a diet full of sugar, gluten, corn, processed foods, and pesticides, all the pesticides that come with eating these foods. And the acid in our stomach should be able to break down these foods, but unfortunately we're eating so much of it, our bodies can't handle what the quantity of these foods that we're eating any longer. And funny enough, what do people do when they have an upset stomach? They take antacids. And our stomach produces acid, so it can actually break down the food that we eat and absorb the nutrients that we need. So by reducing the acid that our stomach produces, we are reducing its capacity to actually break down and digest the food that we're eating. So we shouldn't be taking antacids. That's basically the message I'm trying to get to share with you. So if you are reducing your stomach's acidity, you will not digest the food and absorb the nutrients that you need. This can actually explain many nutrient deficiencies that we see today, like iron deficiencies, vitamin D deficiencies, and so much more. Furthermore, our gut houses trillions of bacteria, okay, good and bad. And this is what we call the microbiome. And it actually houses approximately 10 trillion bacteria, which is 10 times more the number of cells in our body. Could you imagine? What we need in our microbiome, so as I mentioned earlier, we've got the good bugs and we've got the bad bugs. So we need 85% good bugs and 15% bad bugs. Unfortunately, that is not the case for the majority of the population, just because of what we are exposed to every day and the foods that we eat. Here's an interesting fact. I learned this with Dr. Amen, actually. We've got approximately 3 pounds of brain in our head. However, we have 5 to 6 pounds of bugs in our gut. Can you imagine? That's incredible. And each time we have a bowel movement, 60% of it is actually dead bugs. Interesting. So your bugs are your friend, okay? They help protect your single cell lining, that lining that I mentioned earlier that's in your digestive tract. It actually helps protect that single cell lining. It also helps you digest the food that you eat. It helps you absorb the nutrients that you need, and it actually makes vitamins and the neurotransmitters that you need for a healthy brain. So actually, interesting fact as well, 95% of the serotonin that your body creates is actually created in your gut. And serotonin is one of those amazing feel-good neurotransmitters that we absolutely need for a healthy brain and our mental well-being. 95% of it is actually created in your gut. So the health of your gut is like essential if you're dealing with any mental health issues. So what decreases your gut bacteria besides antacids? Antibiotics and over-the-counter medication like Tylenol and Advil. These are really hard on your gut bugs. If you do have to take a painkiller, for example, for a severe headache, I get it. I get headaches as well sometimes. I strongly recommend you take Advil instead of Tylenol, simply because Advil is an anti-inflammatory. However, I do not recommend you take these chronically. This is only for acute situations. Taking these chronically is a bad idea because eventually it will decrease the health of your gut and will increase inflammation over time. So the best route to take before even taking painkillers is actually trying to find the cause of your pain. And the first thing you need to do is to be addressing your diet, especially if it's a standard American diet, which decreases the number of good bugs in your gut. And within that diet, sugar is the worst, okay? Yeah, that's all I have to say. Sugar is the worst. That will have an impact on your microbiome. Not only will it decrease your good bugs, but it also increases fungus, which is what we call candida in the gut. So sugar is to be avoided at all costs if you do have mental health issues. Artificial sweeteners like Splenda is also to be avoided at all costs. Did you know that Splenda was actually initially created to be a pesticide? So it's great to kill your good bugs, right? That's what it was made to do. So toxins, infections like Lyme disease, low omega-3, low vitamin D, these can all have an impact on decreasing your good bugs, the ratio between your good and your bad bugs. Antibiotics, I mentioned that earlier. And I'm 70% actually of the antibiotics that you're exposed to and that you ingest actually comes from the food that you eat, the antibiotics that were given to the animals. So if you want to be improving the health of your gut, you need to be avoiding as much as possible any animal products which have antibiotics. Another thing, people didn't have to think of all of this 10,000 years ago, 1,000 years, even 100 years ago. The food supply was not what it is today, unfortunately. Back then, we used to eat a lot fresher, and whatever we harvested and killed, we ate within days. So it's very different. So as a summary, so let's just summarize what I shared with you today, okay? So what increases good bugs in your gut is you need to be avoiding what you should actually let me start that over. So what you need to be avoiding to increase the good bugs in your gut and decrease the bad bugs, antibiotics. You need to be avoiding the SADS diet, so standard American diet, which includes sugar, gluten, corn, pesticides, and the toxins that you find within that diet. Oral contraceptives, I didn't mention that earlier, but that is definitely something that does have an impact on your microbiome. Antacids, as I mentioned, artificial sweeteners. I'm just looking at my list so I don't forget anything, like Splenda. There's toxins, infections like Lyme disease, mold. I didn't mention that, but that is definitely something to consider. If you have any mental health issues, mold can be at one of the causes. Exposure to radiation, chemotherapy. Now, sometimes we can't avoid some of these. Life happens, right? So we need to increase, when we can avoid things that do decrease our good bugs, we need to do as much as we can in our power to increase our good bugs by the environment that we expose ourselves to and by the food, which includes the food that we eat every single day. So, well, the food, there is a whole bunch of foods that I can definitely recommend, but that will be a subject for another episode that I definitely want to share with you next week. So for today, I simply wanted to open your eyes and educate everyone on how important the health of your gut is to your mental well-being. So and to the health of your brain, basically, right? Because your brain, we don't want to forget, your brain is the organ of your mental well-being. I just something I keep on repeating. I don't want anyone to forget. It's so important because we don't see our brain, but brain is the organ of your mental health. So if you liked what I shared with you today, please share this video with a friend or a family member so they can also benefit from feeding their brains so they can love their life. Every Friday, I show up here live so I can share with you something that I've learned, something that I've read, or that I've tuned into that I think can make a difference in your mental well-being. If you want to always remember that no one, including you, is stuck with your brain. You can always make it better by changing your environment one step at a time. And that is done by changing your daily habits. Creating habits is key to improving your physical and your mental health. My goal is to help as many of you as possible to become who you are meant to be. I would love to invite you as well to follow me on Facebook and Instagram if you don't already do. Just click the link that says follow so I know that what I'm sharing with you is of value. And I try to show up there. I try to show up on Facebook every week, and I do try and post on a regular basis on Instagram and Facebook so I can keep you motivated, but also so you can stay connected to what goes on in my life. Because to tell you the truth, it's not perfect at my end either. I don't want you to forget that improving your health is a journey. It's not the end goal. It's a lifelong journey, okay? It's choices that we make every single day. So that's really important to remember. I also want to let you know that there's a link in my previous post on Facebook. If you go down to my previous post, which is called a free mood swing solutions breakfast ideas, you just click the link. Then you add in your email address, and you can get a free copy of 7 recipes for breakfast ideas that will improve your mental health, that will help you stay calm, happy, and alive. Breakfast is so important to start your day on the right track. So by following me, we are building a community together, and a community of fighters that are fighting for the health of their brain so we can be just who we're meant to be. So I am very much looking forward to seeing you next week. And meanwhile, keep creating those healthy habits. Talk to you soon. Take care.